right. Hey, welcome to the Jeff Hagee Show. I am excited today to have Tammy Matheny back with me. If you've been following my show for a while, Tammy has been my guest before. In fact, she is my number one show right now. So I'm excited to have her back for a number of reasons. Because of that, because of the things that we're going to talk about today, and we're going to share something that we're doing together that I'm really excited about. So welcome, Tammy. Share a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you, and then let's get into this.
All right. Thanks for having me, Jeff. And I get excited anytime I'm first in anything. So I like that. I'm Tammy Matheny, mental game coach, owner of Refuse to Lose Coaching, and author. And I like to tell everybody I have the best job in America. I get to work with athletes, work with teams, coaches, parents of athletes, and helping them with the mental skills. I think we spend so much time on the physical part that the mental is often neglected. So I just see that's my why and how I can come in and make a difference.
That's awesome. And one of the things about Tammy is she has taught me so much. As a coach myself, as an athlete myself, there's so many parts about the mental game that I look back on now and thinking, I wish I would have known that when I was a younger athlete. I wish I would have known these things as a coach earlier, those sort of things. So I really appreciate what you share. And just to put it up for those on the video, here's Tammy's book, The Confident Athlete. Outstanding. It's so much in there that is so beneficial for coaches, for athletes. And you know what? Even if you're not an athlete, there's so much in there that'll help you in life in general. So really a big advocate of what Tammy's doing. So let's talk a little bit about that, what you're doing and what we're doing together. Just share your thoughts there, Tammy.
I am excited. Jeff, when you called, I don't know, 2 months ago and said you had this idea. And I should first say I reached out to Jeff and said, hey, we need to do something. We have a lot of like-mindedness, but also differences to add, and let's do a project together. And so Jeff called and said, hey, he's got the perfect idea. And it's an online program to help athletes and even non-athletes build confidence and maintain it. It was something I'd always wanted to do, but was a little bit gun shy with the behind the scenes. And so Jeff's made it easy for me to bring my material with his material and able to offer this online program for you guys.
Yeah, getting that email from Tammy saying, we should do something together. My automatic response was, yes. I don't care what it is. If Tammy's asking me to do something together, yes, the answer is yes. So I was excited about that. And, it took us a little bit of time to connect so we could brainstorm it. And one day I was sitting there working on one of my membership sites, and I thought, a membership site for the Confident Athlete program, that would be perfect. How else could we serve our audience better? How else could we help the athletes better but to have a membership site that was helping them every month to build their mental game? And as soon as I thought of that, I was like, if Tammy and I could do this together, it would be amazing. We could bring each other's audiences into this and help so many people, from coaches to athletes, and like you said, even non-athletes. And so it was like, send Tammy a message, hey, I had an aha moment, we've got to get on a call. And it's all behind us now. I mean, we've got this thing running. It's awesome. Just to give it a plug right now, confidentathleteprogram.com/membership, and you can find out about it. But it's amazing. So what I want to talk a little bit about, Tammy, is the foundation of it is the success path. So let's talk a little bit about that and what we've included in there to kind of lay the foundation. And a lot of that is what the foundation of your book is as well. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it goes back to the 4 steps. Obviously, there's more in the success path, but that we've started with the 4 steps that I identified in the Confident Athlete book. Just to give a little background, I was always searching for what did confident athletes have that I was missing, because when I was in high school and a little bit in college, I rode that roller coaster up and down. Had a good game, confidence was good. Had a bad game or missed a few shots in a row, the confidence went down. And so I was just, looking for what do they have that I don't, or that I can help others have. And I've identified them with what I call talk the talk. And that's the self-talk that we're constantly throughout the day telling ourselves. Number 2 is walk the walk. That's your body language, your actions, your gestures, your face expressions, because that really ties into what your brain thinks. Number 3 is what I call see it, be it. That's how you see yourself, and then using visualization to help with your confidence. And the last is preparation. It's really hard to be confident when you haven't put in the work. And I think most athletes get that from the physical standpoint, but that's also the mental standpoint of putting in the work with the mental game, so you're starting with a strong foundation of confidence. So that's kind of where we've started. And then Jeff's obviously added to it, and I've added some more things as well. But those are the top 4 where we want you to start. And the confident athlete kind of goes hand in hand with that.
Yeah. And, if there is nothing else, those core things that we have in that success path make this all worth it for the athletes and the coaches. There's so many examples. As I've learned more and more from you, I see these things all the time, whether I'm watching a game, whether I'm coaching a game or whatever, and I'll see someone. And you know what, the cool part about it is I've heard students in the program tell me, you know what, my last game, I started having some negative self-talk after I missed a foul shot, but I caught myself. And that's the biggest thing, is starting to catch themselves and change those things. One of the cool things was, even my son that's 11 right now, we were heading to a playoff game a couple weeks ago, and we get there and it's about half an hour from here. And I dropped him and his mom off at the door, and all of a sudden I see this panic look in his face. And I'm like, where are your shoes? And he's like, and it's like his eyes were ready to well up. And I said, don't worry about it. Just get out. I'm gone. I'll head home and get him. And it was cool because I had that opportunity to talk to him about the whole situation of preparation. Is, like you were saying, it's beyond the physical part, because where's your focus and confidence level when you show up to the game and all of a sudden realize you don't have your equipment? It's out the window. And instead of focusing during warm-ups, he's thinking, is my dad going to show up so I don't have to play in these sandals?
Yeah. I had a similar experience when I was his age with swimming, and I showed up at a swim meet without my swimsuit. So I can relate. That was a panic. Obviously, I did not do well. I had to borrow a teammate's swimsuit that she had already been in the pool. It was wet, a size too small, and it was just, ugh. So preparation is extremely important. And like you said, it helps you have the right mind and focus. You've taken care of everything else, so now you can just show up and do what you've been practicing.
Yeah. And even on the physical part, I mean, that, I think in your book, there's an area you're talking about that. And it's just said, you can't perform your best if you know you haven't put in the work. And I have a friend, and I've had an interview with him on my show, Tyson Durfee. He's a world champion cowboy. And he talked about growing up and the things he sacrificed and the things he did because he wanted to put himself in the position to win. And the mental side of it was, when he competed, he had that level of confidence because he says, I felt like I deserved to win because I knew I'd put more in than anybody else. And so I think it's a really powerful thing. And we could talk for hours on every one of these subjects. And so that's the real core of the program, is the success path, to really teach the athletes and the coaches all of these things. And like I say, that part alone is worth it. But let's talk about some of the other things that we add in there. You want to talk about some of the monthly master classes and stuff?
So we're going to have a monthly master class that will have Jeff and I, most of the time, both of us together, and everyone jumps on a call, and we'll have different topics to cover and enable interaction. They'll also be recorded. So if you're not able to jump on that, a monthly. So I think we're having our first one in 2 weeks. So I'm really excited about seeing how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things we want to make sure that we're creating ongoing value. And, everyone's always learning and going through different experiences. And so the nice thing about having those live classes is being able to talk about those and talk with the athletes about their situations. The other thing that I've always been big on with my athletes is the things you're learning to be a successful athlete are the same things that are going to help you be successful throughout life. And so one of the other monthly trainings that we're going to do is a monthly masterclass focused on personal development. That it might be very sports specific and related, but it might not be. Even, for January, I put one in there on setting your goals, understanding your why, and all of those sort of things, and creating your plan. And it's the same thing that you want to do to set your goals for your sport, but it's the same thing that I use for myself outside of sports, the same system. And so what are your thoughts around that, on just the things that you learn as an athlete that carry beyond the sport?
I use them every single day, and I can laugh. I know every athlete says that. But there's so much that we can learn and grow through our journey in sports. Recently you can see the sling. I recently had surgery, and I've used those 4 steps every single day. And even the goal setting and remembering my why to help overcome, the poor me syndrome that we often can have, or helping me try to get back to where I want to be sooner. So a lot of the self-talk, a lot of the body language, the visualization, putting in the work, having small little goals every day. It's something just, I'm kind of a washed up athlete. I like to think I still can do stuff, but I still apply this to whatever's happening. I apply it every time I get on, a webinar or talk to a team, and I'm talking the talk and I'm thinking about my body expressions, seeing how I want things to go. I have a goal. I'm remembering my why. So all of these things, and I could go on and on with other things that we share as well, but you use them daily. Often we just don't recognize.
Right. And I think a lot of that is that recognition, because when we're not recognizing it, when we're not handling something right, we can't correct it. And so that recognition is a big part of it. Now, another part we have in there is the expert section. That's where, I mentioned Tyson Durfee earlier. I've got my interview with him. We've just compiled a lot of different opportunities for you to learn from experts, from world champions, from champions in all different realms. And that'll always be continuing to grow. In fact, this will end up in there for sure, because anything we learn from Tammy is valuable. So it'll be in there.
I can't say I created it all. I've learned it from someone else. So.
Well, you know what? It's funny because there's so many things that I talk with athletes now, and it'll be, I think I learned that from Tammy. and even one of the things I talk about a lot when I'm telling people about the Confident Athlete program is, you said it earlier, that there's so much work and effort that goes into the physical side, but it's the mental game that needs to be focused on as well. And I say that a lot, but you know where I got that? It's right on the back of your book here. And so, yeah, we all get things from everybody else, so that's all good. And speaking of other people, is we do have a section in there for resources. And that's one of the things I really love about Tammy, is she has introduced me to some of the most amazing people within our industry, outside of our industry, everything. So we've also brought a lot of them, and we'll continue to bring them in as resources for the athletes and coaches within this program. So Tammy, do you want to talk a little bit more about that section?
I'm so excited about that part, because it does take a village, whether it's an athlete, whether it's growing a child, raising a child, or whatever that we're doing. It takes a village for success in Jeff and I have a lot of good material to give you with confidence, but when we can bring the material and resources of all of these amazing people that we're connected with and bring that to athletes, then we are building that village. And you have someone that you can fall back on for recruiting or for nutrition, overcoming injury, and on and on and on. It would take a long time to list all of our resources. So I'm extremely excited about that part.
Yeah, it would. And there are some incredible resources in there, from other podcasts to, we've got a section on books. And like I said, with the recruiting aspect of it, that one is such a valuable. In fact, before we started recording this, Tammy and I were talking about that, and I said, I wish I would have had that resource before I was a parent of an athlete, before I was a coach, because she adds so much value to what we're doing. Yeah, I'm excited about this. The other thing that Tammy is really good at is stories. And I want to share a little bit about that. First of all, share a little bit more about the other books you have written, and upcoming books. But one of the things that I want you just to share, because it applies to, again, athletes, coaches, but even beyond that, share a little bit about the This Is Good story as well.
So This Is Good is, again, I can't take credit for creating it. It's an African folktale that I came across, gosh, probably 15, 20 years. Every time I say this to someone, the year changes, but it was a long time ago. That's all I know. But it just resonated with me. It was like one of those aha moments. And it was something I needed at that time, professionally, personally, in all aspects of my life. And it really became my motto. And it's the gist is finding that this is good in whatever happens. We can't always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it. And I think our first thought initially is, when something challenging happens to us, is that we just assume it's bad, or we have a negative emotion toward it. But if you can keep your brain alive long enough to, okay, what is the good in this? And sometimes we don't know the good until a year from now. Maybe it is the next day or the next game or the next week. But everything that happens to us, there is something good if we can shift our focus to that and allow that to show up in our lives. So, I didn't know if you want me to tell that This Is Good or just the gist behind it, but it's one of the first things I open up with any session I do with an athlete or with a team. It's in every single one of my books that I've written. So it's my foundation. When I can wear something on my wrist, I have, a This Is Good band to help remind me as well. So.
Yeah. And it is because, as an athlete, that's one of the things that I think we learn a lot as an athlete, is how to deal with adversity, how to deal with failure. And when you can learn about the stories such as This Is Good, I think it really helps you look at it from a new perspective, because, with it, if you're more growth minded than fixed minded, you can take those situations and become better because of them.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I love to post on social media positive motivational things. And I've often had people, hey, do you really live that? And part of me posting is to make sure I do live it. So it kind of holds me accountable. And people are constantly, do you really find that this is good? And no, I don't always. I'm human. But even like with this shoulder injury and having some complications that I did focus on the good. Like, okay, why is this happening? There's got to be some good in it. And it is amazing how you stay out of those pity parties when you can shift that focus. So I do try to live it. So yeah, I just think it's powerful when we have the ability to shift our focus to, okay, let me pause here and give something, a chance for something else to come in and take its place.
Yeah. And like you said, sometimes there's going to be situations where it's hard to find that good. Mm-hmm. And it's not until a month later, a year later, maybe even further down the road, that you can recognize what the good was and what you learned from it.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
knowing that it's there is a big part of that.
Yeah.
So share your other books as well, just so we can make sure we put that plug in there.
Okay. I have the Confidence Journal. I don't know if you can see the different books behind. And it's just a journal. I give a daily tip of confidence, and then it's for you to write your confidence journey, questions that come up, what good happened. I do believe in what I call 5 1s, 5 things that went well, 1 thing you want to work on the next day. The journal's a great place to put that, but it's open for you to use it how you want. Then I have This Is Good. Obviously, it starts off with the African folktale. And again, I usually tell that story one of the first few sessions with a team. Teams always like, well, I shouldn't say always. Sometimes you get the eye rolls that it's cheesy. Other times you're like, yeah, that's good. But then you get into the middle of the season and you forget to apply it. And then every once in a while, you have an athlete or a team that really just grabs a hold of it. And This Is Good is actually a journey of a team I worked with. And they had about as much obstacles and challenges as any team I've worked with. A lot of them I couldn't even put in the book. But it was how they overcame. And it all came back to finding that this is good and relying on, all right, this happened, but this is good. We can respond from this. We can bounce back. And just to see the power that it created in this group of 30 women. And with the journey, I give exercises of how you can overcome obstacles. So it's a unique book in that it's a journey, but yet here are some exercises you can take and apply to whatever challenge you're facing in your life. And then the last one that I put out about a year ago exactly, I don't know if you can see it here, Challenger Deep. And it's just a collection of the stories. So I take This Is Good along with 30 other stories of just short, simple, how we can take this story and apply it to our life. 2 to 3 pages each story, then gives you some discussion questions, and then how to take, and apply it to your team or you individually. I'm a big believer in stories. I know sitting in church or in the classroom growing up, I could often, my mind would wander. But if the preacher or the teacher gave me a story, then they had my attention. My grandfather was very big on telling stories as well to get lessons across. So I know the power of storytelling. So, Jeff and I will be using storytelling with a lot that we do as well.
Yeah, it is powerful. And even, things that I know today, but then I hear a story to illustrate it, it just is so much more impactful. I could just sit here and tell Tammy, okay, go through those stories out of the book. And, one of my favorite that you talk about is the story of Who Packed Your Parachute with Charles Plume. That's such a great story. So you'll have to keep following us and come join us so you can hear that one, because it's definitely worthwhile. But yeah, I guess, I wanted to really focus on talking about the program. I'm excited to get people joining us and getting on this journey together. Again, it's confidentathleteprogram.com/membership to find out more about it. But maybe talk a little bit, Tammy, about what you see as the value. Most of who we work with a lot of times is directly with the athletes, but there's a lot of value in the coaches working with us because, like you said, we all share ideas and it all trickles down. So talk about that, the advantage a coach could have in being in this program with us.
I think that's so valuable. The coaches have to spend so much of their time or need to spend so much of their time on the physical, but they often get caught up with not knowing how to help with the mental or other aspects. So we're trying to give these resources for coaches, basically coaching the coach and giving them ideas or telling this story before a big game, or, hey, here's a strategy for helping your athletes have better self-talk. So I think it's valuable for a coach. It can often be simpler for a coach instead of having us come in and work with a team. Here's an online program that they can pull up the resources as they need them and use them for their team and themselves. I mean, coaches the best coaches are constantly learning, just like yourself. And I like to think I'm trying to always learn. We may know a lot, but we don't know it all. So what else can we learn? And I think this is a great resource to help coaches further grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't know what you don't know. And even at points when, as a coach, I've thought I've had everything figured out, and then I sit down and talk with another coach and they give me some ideas. It's just like, you know what, that's actually a great idea I need to implement, because it's better than what I was doing. And so the more we can improve as coaches, the more we're doing for our athletes. So that's great. Well, any other thoughts you want to share on it, or just on the whole confident athlete mentality? Anything that you want to share, Tammy?
I know I'm biased, but I just think it's a great resource. Jeff, mentioned how it's valuable for coaches and teams, but it's also valuable for the athlete that maybe is uncomfortable with one-on-one sessions, or doesn't have time for the one-on-one, because this online program, you do it at your own pace or as needed. So I just think there's so much additional value. Even an athlete that does work on mental game coaching, with an individual, this is a great resource to help just continue to remind them. And there's probably additional material as well. So I could just go on and on that I'm so excited about this and the value, and trying to help make a difference in athletes, coaches, parents, help them on this journey that we're all on.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we continue down this journey, the more we can add into that membership site that we feel that it's going to help the athletes and coaches and parents, we will be doing that. In fact, I'm kind of jumping around, but just as I thought about that, one of the things that we do have in the resource section that you can talk about, Tammy, and you can get this outside of the membership as well, but talk about your confidence calendar.
So the confidence calendar, this is starting the 4th year that I've had it. It originally was for 1 month to promote the confident athlete, as when the book first came out. But the feedback was tremendous. I enjoyed putting it together every month, because again, if I'm writing it, typing it down, then I have to live it. But it's a calendar for every month. Every day gives you a tip, quote, strategy to help you work on your confidence. And so it's just a reminder that confidence comes from what we do, say, and think on a daily basis. It's not just this something magical that we're born with or that we all of a sudden get. So the calendar I like to use as just focus on this daily, and then you'll be surprised at how slowly your confidence will improve.
Yeah. So just another resource we have in there. But like I said, you can get that outside of the program as well. It's a very valuable tool. So again, confidentathleteprogram.com/membership. But Tammy, also share where people can find you and follow you as well.
Okay. My website is r2lc.com. The calendar is on there under the blog section. Then you can follow me on Twitter, Tammy Matheny. I also have another Twitter account for R2L Coaching. Tammy Matheny is, I try to just keep confidence related. R2L Coaching is anything leadership, motivation. Then I have a couple of Facebook groups, the Confident Athlete, This Is Good, and Parents in the Mental Game. Just trying to help parents help their athletes.
Excellent. And I'll make sure I'm going to put the links all in the show notes. So if you've missed that, just go to the show notes and you'll be able to get the link to the membership program and all of Tammy's contacts. But Tammy, thank you. I'm excited to be working with you. I'm excited to bring these athletes and coaches into the program and grow together. This is going to be amazing. So thank you for doing this.
Well, I'm excited. Thank you for allowing me to and joining forces with you, Jeff.
Og Mandino said that the difference between those who have failed and those who have succeeded lies in the difference of their habits. Good habits are the keys to success. Many of the habits that'll bring you success in life are easy to do, but they're also easy not to do. I developed the Mindset Journal so that I could easily implement powerful success habits into my daily routine. The power of the Mindset Journal comes from knowing your top priorities and scheduling them into your day. The power of the reticular activating system and its relationship to your goals, your mindset questions, and your daily accountability. So if you want to implement some quick and effective success habits into your daily routine, go to jeffhagee.com/mindset journal and get yours today. Are you an entrepreneur? Are you one of the crazy ones, the ones that thinks different, that wants to take action on things because you know you can change the world? Do you want to become an optimal performing entrepreneur? An entrepreneur that is successful in their business, in their relationships, in their spirituality, in their personal development, in all areas. They're successful all the way around. If that is you, I want you to come and check out the Entrepreneur Coaching Group. That's what our focus is, to help people become optimal performing entrepreneurs. Now, the Entrepreneur Coaching Group is a membership site where we've got so many powerful tools to help you achieve your goals. Every month, we've got new content, we've got new masterclasses, we've got new personal development training, we've got experts that are helping us all to achieve our biggest goals. And I want you to give it a try out for free. If you go to coachhagee.com/entrepreneur, you can check out the package I've put together that isn't just free access for a month of the Entrepreneur Coaching Group. I've put together some of my best resources, over $2,500 of resources that you're going to get for free just for checking it out. So go take a look at it, order my Mindset Journal, get $2,500 worth of free resources, and check out the Entrepreneur Coaching Group. I look forward to seeing you in there and helping you become an optimal performing entrepreneur.